Swimming into an anglerfish is like winning the nature-watching lottery. So few of them have ever been seen alive, and they're so bizarre that whenever we get news of a sighting, it becomes an international event. So let's talk with the diver who got some of the most amazing nature footage in years in an Animalogic exclusive interview. This is the Anglerfish. Hi, I'm Danielle Dufault, and you're watching Animalogic. Anglerfish are some of the weirdest fish in the ocean. It's almost impossible to see them alive, and most of their behavior is still a mystery. And yet, they're famous worldwide because of their terrifying appearance. So what's it like to see an anglerfish in person? And what's the worst that can happen? So let's go straight to the source. Earlier this year, a researcher and photographer became a global sensation after his footage of a 6-centimeter-long humpback anglerfish went viral. Our producer, Andreas, sat down to chat with him about his amazing footage and experience.
I'm David Jara. I work as a doctor here in Barcelona, but I also work as a photographer, and also I do special trips in the open sea to find and photograph and also research about sharks, rays and cetaceans here in the Barcelona coast.
What were you doing when you saw the anglerfish?
I was in Tenerife island, in the Canary Islands, with some friends from there. We were doing a research trip with a boat to find blue sharks, but we were all the day trying to find them, and we had no luck. So we were coming back from the ocean to the land when my friend Laia, a marine biologist that was with me in that boat, found that black shadow in the surface, and we suddenly stopped the boat and we realized what we had. So we got mad at that moment because this animal is crazy, you know. For us it's really beautiful and really amazing to find it, and also to find it alive. So we went into the water. We tried to make that pictures that everybody has seen these days. For me, it was like a legendary animal, you know. So for me, as a photographer, as a marine life lover, I was amazed about this encounter. I actually, the water was so cold, but I went into the water just with my underwear, no wetsuit, nothing. Just I went to the water fast as I can to be able to see this animal alive, to take that picture. So that for me was amazing. Also for my all of my friends that were there. So that's what I can say. It was really amazing moment for me. I will remember this all my life, I think.
Of course, the fact that a deep-water fish was so close to the surface is a clear sign that the fish wasn't doing well. We don't know for sure, but most researchers believe it was sick or injured.
Yeah, the fish was pretty bad. I mean, in a pretty bad condition. The fish was swimming like this in a bizarre way, going towards the surface and going up and down. She had like the skin a little bit broken in some parts. So the fish was maybe sick. We don't know if it was already sick from the deep and then went out, or if the simple thing of being in the surface was the thing that made it in that condition. But the fish was already not good, and eventually she died actually while we were filming it.
What happened to the fish after?
As this fish is very interesting, we collected and we brought it to the Tenerife Museum to be preserved and to be studied. Actually, the museum decided not to open the fish to do the necropsy, but just to preserve it, to show to the people of Tenerife Island, or to anybody that comes to the museum, that amazing fish, and some information about it. And maybe in the future they can do some genetic research.
In a way, it's a happy ending for the fish. It didn't have a chance to survive, but now it's forever an example of the beauty and biodiversity of its ecosystem. Thank you, David, for sharing your amazing experience with us. The Black Sea Monster. Their nickname, not a judgment based on their appearance, was also very small, at just about 6 centimeters long. Full-grown adults can be over twice as long as this individual. There is something unique about these fish that gets our survival spidey senses tingling. They look dangerous, even at 6 centimeters. So let's take a look at anglerfish more broadly and figure out why they're like that. First of all, what is an anglerfish? Anglerfish is an umbrella term for fish within the Lophiiformes order, most of which have a lure, or esca, to attract prey. There are over 200 species worldwide. Some live near the shore, but the weird ones that we think of when we hear the name are usually deep water fishes. Some of their cousins also have escas, but they more often than not mimic fish prey, like worms or even crustacean larvae. But the anglerfish do something different. They host bioluminescent bacteria to let there be light at the bottom of the ocean. This bioluminescent lure is sometimes taken for granted. Yeah, a deepwater fish has strange adaptations. But there are still lots of questions scientists are still working out. We know that the esca is more of a follow-the-light trap than a miner's helmet lamp. Their prey moves slowly towards it, possibly expecting to find food, and then get swallowed whole by the massive mouth of the anglerfish. Opening and closing the mouth creates a vacuum that sucks in its prey. We see similar behaviors in frogfish and other Lophiiformes. But the real question is, how did it get to that? We don't know how the anglerfish acquires the bacteria it needs to shine bright like a diamond, though the most common hypothesis is that they get it from the seawater. We don't even know how it controls the intensity of the light or what's going on at the molecular level to produce it. We also don't know how it navigates its dark waters when not using the light. If you have any ideas, let us know in the comments. And despite their massive mouths, teeth, and lures, most anglerfish that are caught by fishing boats or those who wash up on beaches have empty stomachs. So we don't know a whole lot about what they eat either. Okay, so in the absence of direct evidence, we have to take the little clues we have to paint a bigger picture. We know that they live in very deep waters, where light doesn't often penetrate. We know that prey doesn't come along often, and that whenever it does, the anglerfish has to eat as much as possible. The big mouth, as well as a stretchy stomach, help them catch and digest animals as big as themselves. Detecting prey is another issue. Some anglerfish have sort of mirror eyes that reflect light back into the retina. This serves a similar function to the tapetum lucidum in mammals and other land vertebrates. The idea is to prevent any light from being wasted. But when that's not enough, anglerfish have a sixth sense to detect prey. Their bodies are lined with sensory pores. These are helpful in sensing changes in water pressure and salinity, but they can also detect electrical signals from the muscle contractions of their prey. But of course, they're not the only ones who are perfectly adapted to life in the abyss. Their prey is also used to the crushing pressure, the extreme cold, the near pitch black conditions, and the low food availability. And more importantly, they also have sensory pores or organs to sense when there's a predator around. So, what does the anglerfish do? For a fish like this, stillness is the right move. Their comically small pelvic and pectoral fins help them make tiny adjustments to almost hover in the water. This prevents them from being spotted by prey, but also conserves a lot of energy in an environment where every calorie matters. And speaking of calories, here's another mystery about anglerfish. We're still not sure how anglerfish store their energy for the periods of time between meals. They have fatty deposits and low metabolic rates, but they don't have oily livers like deepwater sharks. So we don't know how long they can fast. Males of some species have figured out that it's better to let a female catch all the food for a little sperm. So, quick myth busting. Not all species have males that attach themselves to the female permanently. In many instances, the male just sticks around until the female spawns and then leaves. But the most amazing cases are those like the warty sea devil, long-ray sea devil, and soft sea devil, where the males, who are much smaller than their females, find their mate by her pheromones and then attach themselves to her permanently. The male releases enzymes through his mouth that make his lips fuse to her skin. After a while, the male goes blind, its fins atrophy, and its internal organs, other than the testes, stop working. Its only function becomes supplying the female with sperm. And the female will be in charge of providing him with all the necessary nutrients to survive. In a way, they turn themselves into living scrotums. In some cases, a single female can have multiple males attached to her. It's a bizarre system, which kind of makes sense. If you might only run into a potential partner once in your life, you better do your best to show your worth to her and stick around forever. But at the same time, it's such a strange adaptation that it's hard to imagine how it developed. So let's dig into their evolution a little bit to see how this could have evolved. Lophiiformes appeared 100 million years ago and were descendants of other deepwater fish. From there, they spread all over the world, occupying several different niches, but roughly maintaining a similar body plan, mating, and ambush predation strategies. Early anglerfish that stuck with the female longer might have had an advantage over those who were quick to release her after fertilizing the eggs. Over time, the clinginess became the expectation, and the extra touchy males mated a lot more than the more chill ones. Over millions of years, this turned into the sexual parasitism that we see today. The anglerfish's other adaptations are also a mystery. Early versions of the anglerfish resembled modern-day monkfish. These ugly little guys don't have the bioluminescent esca, but have the big mouth to suck in their prey. Since they live in shallower waters, there's more prey availability, and just hiding at the bottom gives them enough cover to ambush their prey. So the monkfish is the baseline, but from there, all different species adapted to new environments. Frogfishes, also members of the Lophiiformes order, have growths that resemble the algae or corals that they live in. That makes sense. But when some species started going into deep water, things got weird. The combination of darkness, low food, high pressure, and cold created a huge variety of species. Their variety in itself is a huge mystery. We don't know what evolutionary pressures led to different types of anglerfish. Or in other words, why isn't there one kind of anglerfish, like the perfect anglerfish all over the world, instead of hundreds of species? We might just be too terrestrial to understand the difference between different types of deep water. This mystery, as well as the question of whether they have a social life, remains important areas of research. If you're into fishes and want to make a difference in our understanding of anglerfish, consider studying them. Many species are still very understudied, and every new piece of the puzzle helps us understand these weirdos a little better. So what should we talk about next? Please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for new episodes every week. And if you liked this episode, check out our episode on frogfish, where we dig deep into shallow water Lophiiformes. Thanks for watching. See ya! Hey everybody, I just wanted to say a really heartfelt thank you for everybody who shared and contributed to the GoFundMe that I set up for helping Nebula get through her cancer care. She made it through. She's now a week out from her amputation. She's one leg down, but her spirits are up, and I see that little personality starting to shine through again. She's healing up great. And just so you guys can see what you've helped happen, here's some pictures and video of Nebula. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.